welcome board members and manager to this March 29, 2021 meeting, regular board meeting of the Board of Water Supply. My name is Brian Nanday, I'm board chair. I'd like to take a moment to take a roll call of our board members who are in attendance. When I say your name, please say aye. Board member Ray Soon.
Aye.
Board member Naalehu Anthony.
Aye.
Board member Jade Butai.
Aye.
Okay, are there any other board members present that I did not call? Okay, as others may join, we will acknowledge them as such. For the record, we do have quorum.
Roger just came on.
And I understand board member Roger Babcock.
Present.
Okay, great. All right. I do want to verify that we have quorum. Board members who are calling or video conferencing in, a friendly reminder to mute your microphone, except when you mean to address the audience. If you have a question, enter a motion or second a motion on an action item, or if you want to make a comment or whatever you want to do, please unmute your microphone. And it would be really, really helpful if you identify yourself before you second the motion or make a motion. Sometimes a couple of you sound similar to each other. So it would really help if you stated your name before you speak. Also in the room with us here at Board of Water Supply, our manager, Ernest Lau, Board Secretary Joy Cruz Achiu, and Information Specialist Stephen Nordstrom. On the telephone, we have Jessica Wong from the City and County Corporation Council Department. And joining us via WebEx is Jeff Lau, also from Corp Council. All right. So we are still continuing to follow the 18th supplementary proclamation related to COVID-19 emergency issued by Governor David Ige on February 12, 2021. Please know that we are looking at, depending on if we remain in Tier 3, and hopefully we will, we are looking to make modifications, but for now, we're going to continue observing the 18th supplementary proclamation. Board members are participating from remote locations via WebEx, except for myself. Testimony can be submitted as follows in a variety of ways to try to accommodate the pandemic. Written testimony may be emailed to board@hbws.org or fax to 808-748-5079. Again, the email address is board, spelled out B-O-A-R-D, @hbws.org. And the fax number is 748-5079. You can always mail written testimony as well to Board of Water Supply at 630 South Beretania Street, Honolulu, Hawaii 96843. Testimonies are due by Monday, the week prior to the board meeting, but late testimony will be posted nevertheless. Online testimony is accepted at boardofwatersupply.com/testimony. Again, that website is Board of Water Supply, spelled out, .com/testimony. We will be accepting telephone testimony during this meeting. The number to call is 808-748-6040. Callers will be placed in a queue and brought up to testify one at a time. If we do receive telephone testimony at today's meeting, further instructions will be provided. Unfortunately, in-person testimony cannot be accepted due to the COVID-19 pandemic and the need for social distancing. All right, materials for the meeting are available under board packet, which is required by HRS section 92-7.5, and you can access that at www.boardofwatersupply.com/boardmeetings. Finally, the meeting is viewable today via live streaming on our website at www.boardofwatersupply.com/live. Again, that's www.boardofwatersupply, all spelled out, .com/live. Video will appear on the screen. You may have to click the arrow on the video to start it. You also may have to unmute audio, as muted audio tends to be the default setting. We have 2 items on our agenda requiring board action today. The first, item number 1, requiring board action, is the approval of the minutes of the regular meeting held last month on February 22nd, 2021. Members, do I have a motion to accept the minutes of the regular meeting held on February 22nd, 2021?
So moved.
Okay, I think that was
Roger.
Roger, thank you. Do I hear a second?
Second.
All right, thank you very much. Nalehu has seconded the motion. Members, I hope you all had a chance to take a look at the minutes that were distributed. They are in your packet. I'd like to open up the discussion at this time, if any corrections, additions, modifications. Okay, hearing none. Hearing none, I'm going to see if there's a public testimony by telephone.
There's no public testimony.
Okay, let the record reflect that there is no one waiting on the line to give testimony by phone. Madam Secretary, have we received any communication?
No written testimony, Chair.
Thank you very much. Let the record reflect there's been no testifiers on this motion. I will then call for the question. All those in favor say aye.
Aye. Aye. Aye.
Okay, any opposed say nay. Okay, let the record reflect that we have a unanimous ayes or unanimous consent to this motion. So the minutes of February 22nd, 2021 are approved. All right, moving on to item number 2, requiring board action, is the adoption of resolution number 922, 2021. This is the acceptance of gifts to the Board of Water Supply from various donors in support of our 2021 Water Conservation Week program. Chair recognizes Ms. Kathleen Panini.
Thank you, Chair, board members, manager. We recommend the adoption of the attached resolution number 922, 2021 that accepts the proposed gifts to the Board of Water Supply, City and County of Honolulu in support of the 2021 Water Conservation Week program. The donors are Friends of Halawa Xeriscape Garden in the amount of $2,000, Hawaiian Financial Federal Credit Union in the amount of $2,000, Times Supermarket in the amount of $2,000, Aloha Pacific Federal Credit Union in the amount of $2,000, Alexander and Baldwin $1,000, Hawaii Energy $1,000, and Pasha Hawaii $500. Total donations $10,500. Sponsored gifts will help offset the department's costs for the program that includes the printing of about 20,000 copies of the 2022 Water Conservation Calendar that features winning entries of this year's poster and poetry contests. The Water Conservation Week program is in its 43rd year of existence This well-established, successful public education program reaches out to all Oahu students in grades kindergarten through 12 to inspire them to value the island's finite drinking water supply and conserve water when they use it. Through this program, the Board of Water Supply intends to motivate more customers to adopt behaviors that support water conservation. We would humbly request your support of this resolution. Mahalo.
Thank you very much, Ms. Pahinui. Board members, any questions?
I'm wondering if I could ask a question. How do we solicit these funds, or how do these funds come to us, or is it just are these on a yearly kind of track too?
We solicit, thank you, Board Member Anthony. We solicit these annually. Most of these sponsors have been with us for in excess of 5 years and have supported this program. And they'll send us a check for the money that goes into our Board of Water Supply account, and then we use those funds to offset any printing for the calendars. We're always open for new sponsors, though, so if anyone has any ideas, please let us know.
Yeah, I'll connect with you afterwards. I have some ideas of who we might be able to add to the list.
Great, thank you so much. We appreciate that. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you. Okay. Thank you very much, Nalehu. Any further questions? Okay. May I have a motion to accept this resolution?
So moved.
Thank you, Member Butai. Is there a second?
Second by Roger.
Oh, thank you very much, Roger. Has seconded the motion. Is there any further discussion? If not, all those in favor say aye.
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 All those opposed say nay. Okay, let the record reflect that we have unanimous ayes and acceptance and consent to this. Ms. Pahinui, please convey our gratitude to our generous sponsors. With that, the Board of Water Supply hereby accepts the various gifts valued at $10,500 and directs the manager and chief engineer or his delegate to accept and thank the various donors for these gifts.
Thank you, board members. Mahalo.
Thank you. All right, moving on to the items for information. We have 5 items today. First up is Mr. Joe Cooper, Waterworks Controller, Finance Division, with the results of the sale of the Board of Water Supply Water System Revenue Bonds, Series 2021A and Series 2021B.
Good afternoon, Chair, board members. I'm here to report the sale of the revenue bonds. On March 25th, we completed the issuance of $93,535,000 principal dollars in principal amount in bonds in 2021 A and B bonds. This will result, the 2020 B bonds were refunding bonds that will result in approximately $458,000 in savings on an annual basis, or approximately $3.2 million over the life of the bonds. These bonds will be used to mostly pay for water system improvements, our capital improvement projects, but also will be used to pay for the cost of issuing the bonds and the cost of refunding the bonds, which resulted in that interest savings. I'd like to note that Our bonds got AAA rating by S&P. This is the second year in a row that we've received an AAA rating, and we are the only agency in Hawaii to receive AAA. It's really important to our shareholders, to our stakeholders and customers, for us to maintain this high rating. As I kind of did a quick example of comparing a AAA rating with a AA rating, which is still a good rating, but it would save us probably about 20 basis points on our interest rates. Now, that's 0.2%, and it may not seem like much, but on the bonds that we just issued of $61 million, that's a savings of about $3 million over 30 years. So it is important for us to maintain that rating, and yes, it's a very good thing for our customers and for our rates. In addition to that, yes, they deposited, as I mentioned, the $61 million in our account for new construction, and approximately $45 million in an escrow account to retire the older bonds. The cost of issuance was just over $550,000. If there are any other questions, I'll be happy to address those.
All right, members, any questions?
Oh.
Chair, if I could say a few words.
Sure, absolutely, Manjula.
Thank you, Chair and board members. I just want to recognize Joe Cooper. He's really the leader of this effort of the team to actually go after these and sell these bonds. So this is, we're doing this on an annual basis, and Joe's done an excellent job, and each year it's getting, the team is getting stronger under his leadership. So I just want to say mahalo to Joe. Good job, Joe.
Thank you.
I also want to thank the board members for your support on us issuing bonds and providing the basis for us to get this AAA rating, which I think the board's support of various financial policies and long-range planning efforts have really made a difference in the minds of the rating agencies. So mahalo. It's a good job all around. Thank you.
Oh, thank you, thanks.
I think Member Soon had something to say. You're on, Ray, you're on mute.
How's that?
Okay, we can hear you.
So I have a couple of questions. Joe, you said that the cost of the issuing the bonds was about $500,000. So that's a fair amount of money, given that we are saving $2 million. Can you tell us what those costs go to? What are those? What make up those costs?
Okay, I didn't bring the breakdown of the cost, but those are a variety of costs. About just under $150,000 went to bond counsel or our counsel. I think another $50,000 probably went to the underwriters council. So in total, about $200,000 probably went to legal fees. The underwriter took $200,000 or $300,000, well, about $200,000. The rest went to things like rating agency fees, advertisements, posting blue sky notices, and publishing and printing the documents. And those are about normal costs for issuing the bonds. I think last year, actually, our costs were a little bit more. I think it was a little bit more complicated of a transaction.
Okay, it feels high, but I think you did a great job. I do have a question about how do we maintain our AAA rating? What do we as a board have to continue to keep our eye on so that we can keep the rating high?
Oh, I wish I knew the answer. Sometimes that's the rating agencies are a mystery box. I think that maintaining, yes, I think they really look at governance and our reaction and our forward thinking. I think some of the things that they looked favorably on was our response to the COVID pandemic, the actions we took as a board and that the board approved. And I think also our financial policies and financial planning and our long-range financial planning, the fact that we proactively addressed the economic and issues that were occurring. And I think, yeah, the board's support in letting us do that and giving us the necessary resources to do that helped in getting this rating. On an earlier note, it's kind of like, even though the bonds, the cost of the bonds was a little over $500,000, our savings is really only on the refunded bonds. And so that was the other $61 million in new money that we got is really for new projects. And so it really isn't part of the savings. It's just the cost of capital.
So I'll chime in a little bit on that one in terms of achieving the highest possible bond rating, and I'm definitely not an expert on that. But I think it goes back, it does, as Joe mentioned, goes back to, and Ernie mentioned, goes back to the long range financial planning that we do. So every time we come up to the budget or we talk about anything financials, there's certain standards that we've adopted as far as policy, including debt ratios, operating ratios, reserves that we have to keep. For example, maintaining 60 days of cash, working capital.
Yeah.
Those are factors that bond ratings agencies look at.
If I could add,
Yeah.
Chair, governance is actually very important to the bond rating agencies. They look at how the utility is governed and the ability for the policymakers of the utility to be willing to raise rates as necessary to invest into our water system infrastructure. So they look very highly, I think, on the type of governance model that we have right now. And it's been very fortunate that you and the other board members have been supportive. Not an easy thing to do to raise rates as necessary, but to be willing to do that. And our approach has been, rather than having no rate increases for a while, like years and years, is to actually try to do the increases on our smaller incremental basis each year. That way, the effect or impact on our customers is kind of lessened as opposed to a large catch-up of water rates like what happened in 2011. That was a very painful process, I can say, coming in as a new manager and looking at a schedule then that was adopted by the board of almost double-digit rate increases for 5 years. But the approach as the board has taken, and I really appreciate it, has been to balance affordability and investment in the water system. So incremental increases as necessary, and that is necessary to fund improvements to our water system. The rating agencies look highly on that. Joe didn't mention it, but the Fitch rating agency actually did kind of a little bit of an upgrade for us. We've been AA+ with stable outlook for years with them, ever since I've been with the board, going on now on my 9th year. They gave us a positive outlook, which is totally a surprise to us, a pleasant surprise, because there's a potential too that we might be able on the Fitch side, if we continue this good work and move in this direction, that Fitch might give us actually a AAA in the future. Something we did not expect, but we were pleasantly surprised. They're one of the toughest rating agencies that I've actually had to deal with, because the head of their rating water utility group is actually a former water utility person. So he comes from the industry. He knows his stuff about how to operate utilities, especially water utilities. So that was a very good positive. Board Member Soon, I don't know if you had another question or did it answer all your questions? You're on mute.
No, that was good. Thank you. I appreciate it. I appreciate the work that Joe does and the results that he gets. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Members, any more questions?
Jane, Jane, not a question, but a comment. We float our share of bonds at DOT, and I have nothing but good things to say. I mean, keeping and maintaining a good credit doesn't happen overnight, and is years in the making. So a huge mahalo to you, Joe, and your team for your financial discipline to save the board of water supply money and in the tireless efforts throughout the entire process.
Thank you.
Thank you, Jade.
All right, any more comments or questions? Okay, if not, thank you very much, Joe, for the report. Thank you again for all your work, and
Thanks, Joe.
to Manager Lau, the entire department, and everyone for working together so we can achieve these bond ratings and attain these cost savings. Next up is Ms. Raylene Nakabayashi, Executive Assistant, Executive Support Office with COVID-19 mitigation efforts and Board of Water Supply updates. Afternoon.
Hey, good afternoon, Chair and members. Raylene Nakabayashi, Executive Support Office. Let me scroll down a little, sorry. Thank you for this opportunity to provide an update specific to COVID-19. I'm gonna jump into my PowerPoint now. So we continue to manage and mitigate our COVID-19 challenges at the Board of Water Supply. Thus far, we've been able to sustain all operations with no disruptions in service due to COVID-19. We've implemented process and policy changes to keep our workers safe. We've also embraced change and continue to quickly adapt to the new COVID-19 landscape. And we continue to protect our ratepayers and make fiscally prudent decisions. So, since our last COVID update to the board in August 2020, Oahu's case count has come down and it's remained low enough to progress to Tier 3. And Tier 3 is just defined as a moderate level of community spread that allows the public health systems not to get overwhelmed. It also allows parks, beaches, retail businesses, and restaurants to reopen with restrictions. As of when I had to upload slides for the board meeting, the average 7-day case count was 42 with a 1.6% positivity rate. As of today, though, the average case count is 52 with a 2% positivity rate, so still keeping us in Tier 3 with not yet progressing to Tier 4. But since Mayor Blangiardi came into office on March 8th, he amended Tier 3 actually to provide additional allowable activities. And also, since we last reported, vaccines are developed and the state defined a vaccination timeline. All BWS employees are essential workers in categories 1B and 1C, and vaccines are offered to all BWS employees. As of this time, approximately 70% of our employees have received at least their first vaccine shot through the city's designated point of distribution. So under the Occupational Safety and Health Act, employers are responsible for providing a safe and healthy workplace to their employees, which we have always strived to do. And throughout the pandemic, we have researched and implemented policies and practices guided by OSHA and HIOSH. And when we last presented information to the board, OSHA had released guidance on preparing workplaces for COVID-19. They have since issued additional guidance protecting workers, mitigating and preventing the spread of COVID-19 in the workplace. And OSHA states that implementing a workplace COVID-19 prevention program is the most effective way to mitigate the spread of COVID-19 at work. And the program developed and implemented by the Board of Water Supply stays true to the principles of safety and the hierarchy of controls. So specifically, as part of our COVID-19 prevention program, we did develop an internal COVID-19 pandemic safety plan early on. This was finalized and distributed to all employees and is easily accessible to our staff on our dedicated COVID-19 intranet page. And within the plan, we do have clearly outlined the workplace coordinators within the department. OSHA also recommended that the plan include, identification of where and how workers might be exposed to COVID-19 at work. For us, it's specifically in our pandemic safety plan, we did include checklists for employees to regularly conduct hazard analysis in their work areas, both in the office and in the field. And we do understand our employees play a big part in keeping the workplace safe, so we regularly solicit their feedback and review. Also, when we last reported, we illustrated how the hierarchy of controls were being implemented based on our specific workers' levels of risk. And while all of our workers are in the medium to low risk categories, we have taken extensive measures to ensure their safety and increase their safety. We continue to evaluate our worker risk using the hierarchy of controls to make informed decisions for our workplace. So I'd like to go through some of the measures in action. So one of the ways we eliminate the hazard at the Board of Water Supply is by providing business options to reduce face-to-face customer transactions. Since we last updated you folks, we have launched the interactive voice response way to 24/7 pay by phone bill services. We continue to provide robust account access online. We continue to use a payment drop box outside of our building so that people don't need to come in to drop off payments. And now that we have reopened our lobby, we do most of our transactions by appointment only to control social distancing. Another way we eliminate the hazard, we do recognize that some customers will not be able to use our alternative methods and will still need to be able to be serviced in person. So we do screening of all of our visitors at the Beretania campus, including performing a temperature check. We've also completed renovations on our lobby. So for those customers coming in, there's a before, which is a completely open kind of design, to the now after, like what we currently look like. And there's plexiglass dividers between the staff and the public. So another picture of the lobby. These are the customer facing desks. So if you needed to come in for like a bill conference, or you had questions that you needed a customer service rep to help you with, or even permit review, it used to be open desks with nothing separating the staff and the public. Now we've got plexiglass between our staff and the public. We've also, further eliminating the hazard for our employees, we increased office space to allow for social distancing by purchasing and installing a modular office at our Manana base yard. So this additional office space does allow for more spacing between the staff, and also another remote office for staff to use instead of having to come into the regular office. We've always prioritized emergency response and continuity of operations at the Board of Water Supply. At the start of the pandemic, we had identified that building a second microbiology lab and control center at our Manana courtyard would support our COOP, our continuity of operations plan. So we thank the board for approving the budget amendment to fiscal year 21 CIP budget to allow this to happen. The design package is essentially complete, and we're working on addressing final comments and questions at this time. We plan to solicit for construction late April, early May, and award this construction contract by the end of this fiscal year. So this is just a picture of where it's going to go again at Manana, which is at Open Breezeway, and just a design layout of the lab. As far as administrative controls in the workplace, we continue to require face coverings be worn by all of our employees, and we provide continual information on COVID-19. Since our last report, we've also issued health screening kits, which include thermometers, to all of our employees, and we've implemented a policy to perform self-screening before entering the workplace. We've also expanded our access controls across Beretania to more clearly keep employee spaces separate from public spaces. So that's the health screening kit on the top right, with the thermometer, masks, hand sanitizer, and then the health screening questions that we ask all of our employees to ask themselves before they come into the workplace. We also continue to promote and support telework, as well as modified scheduling for our staff, and we use electronic means to disseminate information to our employees on a near daily basis. We also meet with our staff via WebEx, of course, to regularly engage in discussion about COVID-19 protection, prevention, and mitigation. We have also implemented many workplace changes to provide supplies and mandate social distancing. For example, none of our employees are allowed to congregate in the workplace. We don't have shared lunchrooms anymore. We also require all of our employees wear face coverings, and we have hygiene supplies across the various offices, base yards, and even in our fleet vehicles. So through all of the changes, we've been conscious of our ratepayers and our customers. We prioritize our safety while balancing the operational costs and needs. So Federal CARES Act funding has allowed us to spend over $1 million on responding and mitigating COVID in the workplace at no additional cost to our ratepayers. Further, we know the pandemic has been economically challenging across the nation, so we continue to look for and actively engage in financial measures that will alleviate the burden placed on our customers. We're closely monitoring and working with the city on 2 new stimulus programs. So there's the Emergency Rental Assistance Program, which made available $25 billion to assist households that were unable to pay their rent and utilities due to the COVID-19 pandemic. Specifically, we know that the city and county right now has $114 million from the federal government and from the state. And the program is currently under development with launch in just a few short, I think like April 5th it was. Yep, very soon. So we're working with the Office of Economic Recovery to ensure qualifying customers can benefit from this program. Additionally, President Biden just signed the American Rescue Plan Act of 2021, which is a $1.9 trillion package of COVID legislation. This one also will deliver $350 billion in aid for state and local governments. Some of those funds may be used to support water system operations, essential worker pay, and water infrastructure investment. So we're closely tracking the implementation of this one to see how we can use this to best benefit our customers. So we have always been focused on ensuring our ratepayers receive their service in a safe, dependable, and affordable manner. As such, we've closely monitored our finances, but especially so during this pandemic. As we reported last month, we did engage CDM Smith to perform an update to our long-range financial plan, and they refreshed our long-range financial plan model and included the stress scenario analyses, specifically the pandemic scenario, and their conclusions are shown on this slide. So even though at this time they didn't see significant impacts to our finances because of the pandemic by itself, we continue to use the financial models provided by CDM Smith to model our long-range financial plan progress and the pandemic as it progresses. The one thing that was underscored in the long-range financial plan update, and for us too, is that the COVID-19 pandemic is not over, and the conditions necessary for comprehensive economic recovery have not been met, nor do we know when they will be met, so we continue to watch. And as we continue to monitor our own finances, though, we do recognize that some of our customers are experiencing great financial hardship during this time. Access to safe water, especially in a pandemic, is critical in maintaining public hygiene and health. So we continue to suspend water shutoffs at this point now through June 30th of this year. I'm sorry, that's water shutoffs due to non-payment through June 30th of this year. So we continue to bill for water usage, and customers remain responsible for the amount of water that they're using and the bills that they're incurring. It's just at this point, we will not shut off if they are unable to pay. We do encourage all of them, though, to contact us as soon as possible to discuss at least paying what they can now and payment arrangements for that. And customers can visit our website to find all the information they need about the payment arrangements. If not, they can call us at 748-5070 if they need information on how they can establish a payment arrangement. And we're also, just so customers know, we do make phone calls. So customers may receive calls from BWS personnel who will inform them if they do have outstanding balances to discuss repayment options with them. So in conclusion, we remain true to our mission through these challenging times. The service we provide is critical to our island's residents. We continue to ensure no service disruptions, or I'm sorry, no interruptions in service due to COVID-19. And the employees of the BWS are the reason we can achieve our mission. We're doing everything we can with all available resources and knowledge to keep our workers safe. And we will continue to make sound financial decisions that protect our ratepayers. Any questions?
Members, any questions?
Mr. Chair, I have a couple of questions.
Sure, go ahead.
Yeah, thank you so much for this this presentation. I'm really curious to learn maybe a little bit more about what you think some of the practices are that might stick around past COVID, either just in terms of general safety for employees or just, discovering different practices that maybe make some of the work easier or make things just move along with more ease with respect to interfacing with customers. I'm just wondering if you have any thoughts on that.
I'll let Ray take a first stab and I'll add to that.
Sure. So we've made a lot of technology updates, Board Member Anthony. Things like the IVR system for the phones, increased access online. All of those things I think are here to stay. With more technology that we can provide to make processes for our customers more convenient, the better. We've also implemented a lot of technology improvements in-house, things like electronic and digital signatures. We're heavily burdened by paper pre-COVID. We made a pretty quick switch to being able to allow our employees to telework, do things remotely for social distancing, that I don't foresee us going back to the paper. We're kind of putting together processes to do things electronically. We're going to keep doing that. The more that we can leverage Adobe Sign and other things like that, I think that will continue. And on that vein with telework, I think we're finding that it was very limited in its application pre-COVID, but we are finding benefits to the program. So,
yeah, so very good question, Board Member Anthony. You could say that, somebody shared with me just recently a article from the Harvard Business Review talking about liminal experiences, which is like a culture-wide of practices, from young people moving to adulthood. But in a way, organizations kind of gone through this because we've been forced over a year to be in this mode of operation, not by choice, but by necessity. And also it caused us to break from the traditional ways of doing the operation of the utility. And I think there's some actually benefits from this. When we see this coming up, and hopefully before the end of the year with the vaccinations and all the hard work everybody's doing, that maybe we'll be through this. But you're absolutely right. There are valuable lessons that we do not want to lose, but we want to continue and build upon this. Leveraging technology, being able to work remotely, being able to do virtual meetings of staff. We want to not lose some of these valuable lessons. So at a point in the future, we're kind of looking at this right now. We'd actually like to share with you some of the things, our observations that we should continue to operate as a utility. I just think one thing, maybe the word that comes to mind is nimbleness. This pandemic has actually forced everybody to become more nimble if you want to survive in this type of prolonged stress. So as a utility, I think we're becoming more nimble because we're being forced to do that. The rate of change from the pandemic in the early days was almost weekly. New developments were occurring, new information was coming out, and we had to constantly adjust. So I just want to recognize Ray and also our Human Resources Officer, Michelle Thomas. They were really our go-to people to rethink policies that we had to implement on the fly, like almost 3 times a week, we'd have a change in
A participant
information
has
or
left the meeting.
policies coming from the governor or the mayor, and we had to adjust, turn that around with their help quickly to become policy to guide our employees and deal with all the different issues. It was kind of the thing we said that usually it's going to occur, something major is going to come down, and we're going to learn about it at like 4:30 on a Friday afternoon, and I have to work into the evening to turn around a policy that we can share with our employees the following Monday at the first workday. So I just want to thank Raylyn and Michelle for all their hard work. But we'd love to come back to the board later and talk about some of the lessons learned here.
Yeah, absolutely. And thank you, both of you, for the comments. You know, I think that there's a number of conversations taking place right now as to how we can shift some of the bureaucracies across, you know, city and state departments to just get more kind of well-oiled as we go through this process. And certainly some of the things that you pointed out, using technology and getting rid of paper and electronic signature. I think, you know, I would encourage you folks to you know, bring something either formally or informally as a document to talk about this, you know, maybe in a year's time, to be able to really utilize that as a way, as a you know, one of the pieces of the puzzle to move forward and just eliminate some of the waste that can occur over time when we get kind of set in our ways. So mahalo nui for the update.
Mahalo. Mahalo.
Thank you, Naleo. Members, any further questions? Okay, hearing none. Thank you very much, Ms. Nakabayashi, for the report and for the update on our COVID-19 mitigation efforts and the Board of Water Supply updates.
Thank you.
Mahalo.
All right, next we have Barry Usazawa, who has our status update of groundwater levels at all index stations.
Thank you, Mr. Chair and members. There were 2 aquifer index stations in low groundwater condition for February. Wailua is in caution. It's just in caution by less than 1/10 of a foot. Honolulu is in alert. Again, just less than 1/10 of a foot into the alert status. The monthly production for February is 125 million gallons per day, which is slightly below the 5-year monthly average for this time of year. The rainfall index for February was 110% of normal and tied with the January rainfall of 194%. You know, it moved our 5-month moving average to close to normal. You know, we did experience a drought from April through December. And so our aquifers, although there's a decreasing trend in water levels, it's starting to turn and starting to rise because of the last 2 months. The National Weather Service is still forecasting a La Nina condition through the spring months with above normal rainfall through June 2021. So it's looking good for water resources for at least through the mid part of this year. And that's my report. And if there's any questions, I'd be happy to answer.
Members, any questions?
Thank you very much.
Okay, hearing none, thank you very much.
Chair.
Oh, yes, Member Butai.
Yeah, I have a question. You know, even though we had that severe weather, Wailua and Punaluu is still caution and put in alert the status.
Yeah. I can show you the.
I think this is February data, right? Barry.
Yeah, I think it's 1 month in it. Yeah, February data, correct.
So the
1 month
March,
in it.
all the March rains that we've been having wouldn't be reflected in this, right?
The January and February would.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but not the March.
Not the March.
Okay.
Correct. So this is the head levels for the Wailua index well, and it's slightly in the caution stage. So when it starts to reach critical, that's alerting critical is when we have to start looking at demands and production. The Honolulu is here, and so 15.92. So again, it's just into the caution, but it's an artifact of the drought we had from April through December. But the rains have come back, so we should see it start to turn and go back up. I hope that answered your question.
So the weather that we got, it doesn't reflect all the water that that probably entered into our catch basins. Because I mean,
it takes several months. Yeah. Okay. It's starting to show, but it's not fully showing yet. It takes months for it to recharge into the aquifers. So yeah.
And the particularly heavy rains were in March, not in February.
Yeah, January was pretty high too.
January was pretty high, but
yeah.
March was when we had the flooding issues, I think.
Correct.
On Maui and Kauai, the Jade part of your highway had a landslide in Honolulu. I think it was in March. So we'll see what the next month's report looks like, and hopefully things will be better.
There's a couple of knobs there. When there's heavy rainfall, a lot of that runs off and doesn't recharge. So like steady light rain, it takes about 6 months to actually get down to the aquifer. So there's a lag time there. What you're seeing in the head levels too is a reduction in pumping. When we pump less, the water levels rebounds up a bit. So it's a couple of things that are going on there, but those are the things that affect it. Heavy rains just run off, and not all that recharges.
Yeah, nice steady drizzle is actually the best for recharge.
Winter than Melbourne.
Yeah. But we'll take whatever rain we can get.
Yeah.
The Vai is precious.
Okay.
Jay, did we answer your question?
No, thank you, Ernie.
Okay.
Yeah, we'll see what March.
Thank you. Yeah, well, we'll hopefully March will be a better report for Honolulu.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much for the report. All right. Next up is Jason Nikaido, Assistant Program Administrator, Field Operations Division, and Mark Chun, Civil Engineer 5, Water Resource Division, with Satellite Imagery Leak System Analysis and Leak Detection Services Project.
Good afternoon, Chair, members of the board, manager, and everybody else who is watching today. My name, as I mentioned, is Mark Chan. I'm a civil engineer with the Water Resources Division, and my co-presenter is Jason Nakaido, who's the Assistant Program Administrator for the Field Operations Division. I want to thank you folks for the opportunity to go ahead and give a little briefing on what we call this long title of Satellite Imagery Leak System Analysis and Leak Detection Services. And probably for the rest of this presentation, I'll be calling it the Utilis project for simple. The purpose of this presentation is just to update you on where this particular project is. As you folks know, the department cares a lot about reducing non-revenue water, and reduces our operating costs, and it's good for the environment. One way we like to do this is to find and repair leaks within our water system. Now, the Board of Water Supply does have a comprehensive program to go ahead and do that. one where we would actually look at all the different mains, every single mile of mains that we have. It's good, but we're always open to finding more efficient ways to go ahead and do this. And so we're looking out for other ways that maybe we can do this a little bit better. An opportunity came to us. We had an opportunity to attend a presentation done by the Elemental Accelerator, which is a nonprofit organization which brings together organizations or different companies of new technologies that are looking for solutions to climate change. In this, we were able to see a company called Utilis. And Utilis is the company that's providing this satellite leak detection services. And what they promised was a way to go ahead and find leaks in a more efficient manner, to basically show us where we should look for leaks. It seemed a little bit hard to believe, so we went ahead and said, we asked around East Bay Mud and a few other utilities to see, has this technology been tried out? And so we decided to have a pilot project with them. So in 2019, we contracted with Utilis. Over 2 fiscal years, $307,000. And the scope of work was to go ahead and use their technology, or I'll get into a little more specifics of what it is, but how they use their satellite imagery to help us find leaks. We would have them analyze this data and prepare a leakage report. And the end result of it is to see if it actually worked. Again, the goal is to verify the technology. Like I said, we've talked to various utilities. We know that it kind of worked. But even utilities would suggest that the geography of Hawaii may be different enough that we may not get the same results. So that's one thing, we want to verify the technology. And again, we wanted to make sure that their technology does exactly what they said it would do. Of course, it would increase our leak detection efficiency, and as a result, reduce our non-revenue water loss. But what exactly do they do? Well, Utilis says that they use satellites, commercial satellites, which have synthetic aperture radar installed on it, to go ahead and take an image of the islands. And synthetic aperture radar in particular uses specific wavelength, specific frequency of radar to go ahead and penetrate to the ground. Now, when all of these signals hit the ground, it's going to go ahead and produce back a signal from whatever target it hits, depending on the type of material. And in particular, what they're looking at is chlorinated water that is underground. So Utilis is saying that they are able to go ahead and analyze this data, which is a good thing, because it's their proprietary knowledge and proprietary software that's going to be able to take this received signal with all this data that comes back and be able to tell what exactly is chlorinated water and tell us where to look. What Utilis does is takes this information and they end up essentially with a lot of dots all over the map. These are potential places where there's chlorinated water. Now, to help narrow it down a little bit more, they asked us, Board of Water Supply, for a map, a GIS map of where all of our mains are. And they'll look to see where these particular dots on our mains crisscross. And then they'll send us back that filtered list of points of interest. Once they do that, Utilis would then provide us maps, smaller maps of a particular area, the exact mains that we should be looking at, so we don't waste our time on other mains that probably don't have a leak on them. They provided this in PDF files. They provided this in a mobile app. They provided it in desktop software to go ahead and process all of the data. The mobile app is for our field crews that are out there, and then the desktop version is to go ahead and plan out the workload and the workflow. The information itself was, I'm sorry. I think at this point, I'll go ahead and turn it over to my co-presenter, Jason Nakaido, to go ahead and take it from here, to go ahead and explain how the information itself works within the Field Operations Division.
Okay, thank you, Mark. From this slide, what you'll see is the point of interest is a 600-foot diameter circle. So what Utilis is saying is there is a potential leak within 600 feet of the center of this circle. And so that's where our leak detection team is going to look and find a leak. Okay. So Utilis took 3 satellite images so far per their contract. The first image was in December of 2019, and it covered the entire island, so all 2,100 miles. And they found 728 points of interest or potential leaks. Okay. The second and the third images were taken in June and September of 2020. They also found some points of interest, but the main purpose of those 2 additional images were to kind of be able to compare the first image and see if things change when did previous leaks still stay there, or did previous leaks that we investigated and repaired disappear. Okay? So in total, we found 999 points of interest that we had to investigate. Okay, here's a GIS map showing all 999 points of interest on the island. You can see they're scattered throughout the system. And so based on this, we needed methodology to kind of systematically go through all 999. So we took an asset management-based approach, looking at risk and consequence of failure to kind of prioritize which points of interest we would attack first. So we took into account things like pipe diameter. If it was a larger pipe, we wanted to investigate that first. If it was a high traffic area, state road, we wanted to push that up on the list too. And if it would inconvenience a larger number of customers, those are the points of interest we wanted to look at first. Okay, so based on that, our leak detection team went out and started investigating the potential leaks. Okay. And the results, so in this table, you'll see results from the last year we did our traditional method of finding leaks, and in 2020 when we started using Utilis. Okay, so the difference between the 2 methods is basically where we start. Okay, with the traditional method and Utilis, we use the same equipment and the same methods of leak detection. Okay. What Utilis brings is a first cut of where we start. So traditionally, we would choose a neighborhood based on where previous breaks were and maybe problem areas. Yes. But with Utilis, we're focusing on specific areas where we have a higher potential of finding leaks. Okay, so in 2019, when we investigated 358 miles and found 255 leaks for a metric of 0.7 leaks per mile. In 2020, using Utilis, we investigated 120 miles, or about a third of the previous year, found 344 leaks, so more leaks for a higher metric of 2.9 leaks per mile. Okay? And so, because everything was more electronic now, our GIS team developed a kind of GIS website, a dashboard, to show these results. So previously, we just had a spreadsheet that the leak detection team kept track of. But now, since everything was electronic, we could push everything to the web and make it more visual. So we can see a map with how the results were. We can have tables showing how many points of interest we already looked at, how many we found leaks on, how many we still have to go and look at. And you can see the majority of the leaks in the bottom, that kind of orange rectangle, are coupling leaks. Okay, so majority of the leaks are in the meter box, but we still found leaks on the service laterals and the mains, and those are the ones that potentially could have led to more damaging main breaks. Okay, so we did catch some that could potentially have turned into more damages and higher costs to repair to the board. Okay, and then once we verified those leaks, we sent them out to our pipe crews to go ahead and fix and address. So going back to the goals, verifying the technology, we can say yes, the technology does work. our hit rate was approximately 50%. So out of the 300 or so points of interest we investigated so far, about half of them have resulted in finding a leak. Reduction of non-revenue water, you can say yes, we have been able to reduce non-revenue water. What we're focusing now on is being able to quantify that to get a better feel of how much money we're saving at the board. And finally, did we increase the leak detection efficiency? Yes. So based on the metric we used of leaks per mile, we can say this project resulted in a 4-fold increase in efficiency, which is allowing us to do more work with a limited amount of staff. Okay. And in addition, staff has been very positive using this new technology. Most of them are on the younger side, so they feel more comfortable using the technology, and it has made their job easier. Okay, next steps. We're looking to continue the pilot program into year 2. And part of that is going to be looking at if we were to move this to a permanent program, ways we could make it more efficient and ways to improve how we collect the data and use the results. And after the pilot program, we're going to make a decision on whether we want to continue using Utilis, but so far the outlook is promising. Thank you, and I'll open it up for questions now.
All right, thank you for the report. Members, any questions? Okay, I have a question.
I got a quick question, real quick.
Oh, by the way,
Ernie, on non-revenue is about what, 10%? 15%?
I think it's in a 10 to 15% range.
Okay, are we planning to use this technology to close that gap on 10%?
Based on the pilot, we've been through, I think now the first year of the pilot, we're going into the second year of pilot. There looks like there is a good potential for this technology.
Okay.
Increasing our efficiency by 4-fold with the same resources, staffing, and equipment that we're using is pretty amazing. So now to actually quantify the benefits, like how many gallons of water did we save, which you can translate now into cost savings to our customers.
Yeah, I understand that, but yeah, if you can, if that closes the 10%, then it's well worth the money. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
Okay. Yeah. So my question was, did I hear right? We're trying to quantify how much we're saving with the increased efficiency.
Yes.
Okay. All right. Members, any further questions or comments?
Chair, could I make just a few comments?
Absolutely.
Observations here. I just I'd like to just say my appreciation to Mark and Jason. They make a great team on this technology. This is new technology, and we first learned of this actually. I first saw it many years ago at the ACE conference, or annual conference of the AWWA, and in the exhibit hall, and I thought, this is like space science fiction. It's too good to be true. That from a satellite, you can actually see chlorinated water based on its spectral image signature. But then we also got invited to Elemental Accelerator. They're a local company that actually tries to bring new technology to different sectors in Hawaii. And they brought in the Utilis, the vendor, to make a presentation. And from there, thanks to also Barry and Mark and Jason, we actually, and Mike Fouquet, we actually implemented the program. So this is very interesting. I think keeping track of new technology is very important for our utility to stay current. And outreach to other utilities around the continent of the U.S. is also important. So good job, Mark and Jason. Thank you for the presentation.
Thank you.
Yep. Thank you very much. I echo manager's comments. Technology is really important for utilities to stay modern and caught up. And thank you very much to the department for quantifying the results of this technology that will help us make better decisions. Moving on to the next item, Chair recognizes Mr. Mike Fuki. And by the way, sorry, I forgot to ask this question. So Mike, you always report, in your report, for example, in today's report, you're gonna say 14 miles of pipeline were surveyed by the leak detection team in the month of February.
Correct.
Is this referring to
That includes what we
what
do
they
as
have?
part of it. Correct.
Okay, all right.
The mileage doesn't look very much, but that's the reason why, because of efficiency. Because before, we just used to go and just mass go into an area, so the mileage would be a lot greater. But now, because of utilities, we're a lot more focused, so that's why our mileage numbers are lower.
I see.
So, we look at it that way, it's more efficiently. Even though it's only 50%, what we find out, it's really worth it, because, for example, we had a main break by Hawaii Kai Golf Course, a 30-inch main. And that was prior to us using Utilis, but we found out, hey, when we went back to cross-check, sure enough, Utilis, and there was only one main in there, one big 30-inch main there, nothing else. Utilis showed that, hey, there's a potential leak here. So we could have averted it if we, paid more attention to it at that time, but now we learned from that incident. So Utilis is very, very promising, Ernie said, it's very, very interesting to see how this goes. I gotta admit, I was one of the doubters.
Me too.
How can you see chlorinated water in the ground from
Space.
high above? But from what I've seen, it's very, very, very promising. Very good.
Yeah, that's great to hear. Good to tie in all of this together.
Yeah. Also, too, I'm going to report. Anyway, for the month of February, we had 18 breaks. That time they took us to repair 4, 6, and 8-inch main breaks was approximately 14 hours. As you mentioned, Chair Andayo, the leak detection team surveyed 14 miles. They found two leaks on mains, and also as the Mark and Jason mentioned, we also found 31 meter coupling leaks. It may not seem like a big deal, but meter couplings, we finding a lot more than we used to in the past. So it's becoming very, very important for us.
So these meter leaks, these are customer meters that leak, which would cause their bills to...
It depends on which side of the meter.
Yeah.
Maybe Mike, you can explain.
It depends. It can be on the inlet side before it gets to the meter, or it can be on the outlet side after it goes through the meter. If it's on the outlet side, then the customer's billing is impacted. If it's before the meter, it will not impact the customer's billing.
And we'll make an adjustment to the customer's bill to account for the customer side leakage.
Correct. Okay, that's my report. Any questions?
Members, any questions? Okay, hearing none, thank you very much for the report, Mr. Fuke. That brings us to the last item of our regular agenda. We do have an executive session today. Can I entertain a motion to move into executive session?
So moved.
Thank you, Member Butai. Any
This is
second?
Ray. I second.
You're faster than mine, Ray.
Gary? All right. This motion is to move into executive session. All those in favor say aye.
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 Okay, all those opposed say nay. Okay, let the record reflect, we have unanimous ayes consent to this motion. We will now take a brief recess as we prepare for executive session. All right, there being no further business, can I get a motion to adjourn?
Max, second.
Okay, moved by Member Butai, second by Member Sword, to adjourn today's meeting. All those in favor say aye.
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 All those opposed say nay. All right, we are adjourned. Thank you very much, board members. Take care.